Okay, we're live, we're taking a video. You're welcome to ask questions, but those questions will appear on the internet. So let's make a program called mycopy. And we're going to need standard.io.h. And our goal is when we run it, we'd say mycopy file1, file2, and it would read the contents of file 1 and then make a new file called file2 and write everything in file 1 to file 2. So at the end, file 1 and file 2 should be identical. So let's see if we can do this. So first, we want it to take some arguments, right? And so let's just print those arguments. So file to read is and the file to write. So just as a reminder, if I say a.out on file 1, file 2, then that would mean that argc would be 3, that argv of 0 would be a.out, argv of 1 would be file 1, and argv of 2 would be file 2. Okay? And so down here, the one we're reading is argv of 1, and the one we're writing is argv of 2. We should probably put in some error checking, like if argc does not equal 3, okay? And so this, and exit just says to exit, and then this is just this is an enumerated type. Exit failure, it will just exit with some error code. So typically 0 means there's no error, and non-zero means there is an error, and you have to include standardlib.h. By the way, as you guys know, every lecture has had to do the homework, and a lot of these things show up in the homework prompt. Let's just say you've messed up. Okay. So that's probably enough code that we should compile it and run it. And with no arguments, it says you've messed up. And if we say file 1, file 2, then it tells us correctly it's file 1, file 2. And you see, by the way, it put like nice little quotes around it. So the reason it got nice little quotes around it is because I wanted to put quotes around it, but I had to do a slash quote, because if I didn't do this slash right here, then C would think I was ending the string. And I had to say, no, I'm not ending the string. I just want you to put a quote inside the string. Okay? So, and by the way, something else, and this will also show up in 2E, is that if I run this, the return code, exit failure, shows up like this in the C shell. So if I say $?, that is what was returned by the last program I ran. So exit failure returned 1. If I do it right, file 1, file 2, and I do $?, now it's 0. And so again, it's a common Unix convention that 0 means everything worked fine, and non-zero means there was a problem. And whatever it returned is sometimes referred to as an error code. Okay, so now, mycopy.c, we need to start using our machinery. We'll test that. I'm trying to do better modeling of testing a lot more as we go. So if I say mycopy.c, file 2, then it's cool that it found it, but if I give it some other name like this, mycopy.cc, it says could not find file mycopy.cc. Now, by the way, if I did this when we're done, this would be a disaster, right? Well, actually, it'd probably be okay because it would overwrite this with itself. But what we wouldn't want to do is something like this, because it would overwrite the contents of a.out into mycopy.c. But we haven't made it that far yet. Okay, whoops, sorry. So now we're at a critical moment. We've opened a file, we want to read the data out, right? And so typically in C, when you're storing data, you do it with an unsigned car. And we have a problem, right? So first off, you know, I don't want to see code submissions that have stuff like this, because this is putting a lot of pressure on the compiler to resolve stuff for you, and it won't work in practice, right? It'll work on small toy examples. But in a situation like this, we know we need to read data, but we don't know how much data. So that'd be a situation where you use dynamic memory. So how can we figure out how much data we have to read? Yeah, Jarrett? Perfect. We'd do an fseek, and we'd set it to, it'd be, was it called seek end? So now, this is why we lectured on fseek. We've gotten to the end of the file. I think that's the right syntax. Fseek, it's a stream, an offset, and a wince. I have the wrong syntax. And so we're almost there. We've gotten the file position indicator to the end of the file. We need one more thing. Jarrett, help us out. How do we actually get the number of bytes in the file? Almost, okay. So what's it? Yeah, exactly. So the ftell command. Okay, so let's compile that and make sure we're doing it right. So it says there's 728 bytes. If we do mycopy.c, 728 bytes. Cool. We've got 5 minutes left. I'm starting to feel the pressure. So now we can make a buffer for that. By the way, when we're done, we should free it, right? But we want to do, this is at the end of the program. But we want to do other stuff first. So now we'd like to do this. We'd like to, I'm going to write the wrong thing. Fread into buffer. We'd like to read this, the 728 bytes, and we're treating them as bytes. And we want to read from fn. Now this is wrong. What did I get wrong here? The syntax is good. Yeah, Jarrett? I think that part's okay, that we've asked how many bytes, and so we're treating unsigned car as bytes. So I'm not worried about that bit, about whether we have a type mismatch. Simon?
Is it the location we are?
Perfect. When we did an fseek to the end, we put the file position indicator at the end of the file. If we did an fread, we'd be reading from the end of the file. So we need to actually, before we do a read, go here and say we want to set the position to be back at the beginning of the file. Okay? And when we do that, let's just get the first, well, I'll tell you, we're just going to go for it because we've got 3 minutes. And then I'm going to say file star fout equals fopen with argv of 2, and we want to write. And then we would do fwrite. Oh, I always screw up on the syntax. We're going to write the buffer, size of unsigned car, num bytes in f1 to fout. And then we should just do an fclose to fn and fout. And if we do that and compile it, not good. So by the way, when I look at these compiler errors, I'm always looking at a line number, and then when I come into my VI session, I say :35 to skip to that line, and then here's the problem right there, and so I just take that out. And so I'm going to call my output like 212 fol19. When I say there's no such file or directory, now I'm going to run it, and I'm going to take in mycopy.c as input and make 212 fol19 be the output. And if I ls 212 fol19, then it's 998 bytes. It was written today, October 24th at 11:18 a.m. And if I look at it, then it's got the same contents as mycopy.c. And if we difference them, this is another Unix command, diff of mycopy.c and 212 fol19, then it says they're the same. If I go and modify fol19 and instead of standard lib, call it standard hank.h, and then difference them, then it says, oh, that one line is different. So difference is a useful command that's used in the checker for 2E. Okay, I'm going to stop my video, but you